Well, many thanks once again. And can we call upon the next set of speakers? This is going to be a dual presentation by Devi Sridharan and Shraddha Deshpande. Siddharth, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yes. So before we get started with the session, we would like to introduce ourselves. So this is Devi Sridharan. I've been working as a test engineer for close to 4 years now, and I'm currently associated with LinkedIn. And today I'm joined here by Siddharth.
Hi, am I audible? Okay. Hi, I'm Siddharth. I'm working as a quality analyst at ThoughtWorks. So our today's topic is actually, is your code toggled? So rather than jumping exactly into the topic, what I would like to do is create a base around it. So the next slide is like, what is Agile? I know you people will be knowing all the things about Agile, but I would like to know what is your perspective at looking at Agile. So can we have certain answers like what is Agile? What does Agile mean to you?
Like what was the main reason, like why your team adapted to go
Exactly.
with Agile methodologies? So any thoughts?
How many of you attended the KK session in the morning? So maybe you people might be able to answer a few stuff.
Sorry?
Time to market, so people has to do things, deliver fast. So that's the reason people trying to adapt to the Agile. Agile is nothing much. Morning she explained. So it just had to deliver the fast. And
Delivering fast. Okay.
So first of all, the way Agile has come is more like you have the pitfalls with various other models.
Exactly.
So it's already there probably since 1970s or 1980s in various ways.
Exactly.
So the way it has got prominence is, okay, we are getting problems with one way of thinking. So what is that we have to change? So you can say either collection of various methodologies or just the mindset, or it's more like flexibility.
Exactly.
How much flexible you are to make the things better. It's not just like a use single model or single way. It's more like more in the mindset and more of flexibility.
Okay, anyone?
Exactly. That was a nice point.
It's only responding to change quickly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Changing. Yeah. Exactly. Customers are the main focus. So we need to value them. So let's go to the next slide. Blah. It is 12 what Agile Manifesto has to say about what are the principles. Don't worry, we are not going to cover all the 12 principles, out of which we'll be covering 2, which are main focus for our current topic, today's topic. So customer satisfaction by rapid delivery of useful software. When we develop a software, for whom we are developing? For customers. If customers are only not satisfied with whatever we are delivering, then whatever we have developed, it's of no use. But how we'll come to know whether the customer are satisfied or not? We need to get the feedback from that. The normal traditional approach or like waterfall model, what it does is it will be developing all the software, then it will be delivered to the end customer, then end customer will be actually using it, then the customers will come with the feedback. Okay, this thing we didn't want this way, we wanted this particular thing this way. So in that sense, what we have to do is whatever the efforts we have taken so long, we have to do a lot of refactoring. We have to make changes so that whatever the customer's requirement were there, it will be fulfilled. Instead of that, we can divide, or if we can simply segregate the whole development process or the whole end-to-end product into bits and pieces. Like for example, if instead of delivering the whole end-to-end product, if we could deliver bits and pieces of it, what will?
So most of the teams, like what they do is like they divide themselves into sub teams and they work on multiple things at the same sprint and they try to deliver more value to the customer, right? So one of the common approach adapted by the team is like, I mean, if they are if they are working on the multiple things at the same time, one of the thing like what they do is like they widely pick up this approach of branches. Since like at the end of the sprint, like we have to deliver all our work to the customer, all of us are working on the same code base. It is not a different code base, right? Even though it's a different sub teams. So how do we deliver it at the end of the sprint? Like when one team is like completed with its work, the other team will be its work is in progress. Only the development is done, testing is not done. So we don't know like what is breaking, what is not breaking. So in that case, like what do we do? How do we make sure like we deliver a valuable thing to a customer in the end? So to come up to overcome these things, like what the teams does is like they mostly use this branching approach. So I'm sure like most of you are aware of what this branching technique is, right? Or like maybe like if I have to say a one-liner, it's like it's like whatever is our production equivalent code, just taking an entire copy of a code from there and adding on top of it, like entire release work goes in a separate branch or separate piece of like code, and at the end of the sprint, like once the testing is done, once we are sure like code is stable, we merge it back to the master. I mean, we merge it back to the master or like stable code. So that is what like branching is. So once again, like widely there are two sorts of branching approaches which is used here. The first one will be like release branch. So in release branch, as we discussed, like we have a single master, it's a term like which we use in software configuration management. It's nothing but a code like which is in production or like which is equivalent to production, and it is like stable and you can release with that code at any point of time. So that is, I mean, or this is the code, I mean, this is the place where all your entire software is like, I mean, entire code base is there. And the release branch is like, we have a master and we have like one more branch. So this release branch, we create a new branch every time for every new release. And all the work that is related to that particular release, it happens in that branch, in that particular branch. And the next one is like feature branches. So let's say, like as we discussed previously, there is a very high possibility that there will be multiple subteams, right? If someone is like, people are working on multiple things, only a single branch and master won't suffice. Like we need a places where we can keep the code segregate so that we could release like whatever is needed. So that is when like people started moving to feature branches. Maybe we'll look at them in detail. Yeah. So as you see in the figure, the trunk that refers to a master, so that is always in a green state. That is like always deployable to production if things goes wrong in a production. And at the start of every release, we take a branch out of it. We do all our work, release related work on that branch, and we at the end of the release, like we merge it back to the master. So what do you think like could be the shortcomings of this approach? Anyone has followed this in your project? Okay.
Integration is
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. So integration is a very big problem. So if, let's say like if our sprint itself is a week, and if you're going to follow this approach, like we have to, like every sprint, like we have to spend a considerable amount of time doing integration and regression testing, right? Because like integration is like delayed here. So at the end of the sprint only, like we are merging it back to a master. So if something are going to be like broken in the master, we'll get to know it only at the end of the sprint. And then we have to like see like how we could fix it, or like it may result in delayed releases as well. So, and another important because challenge is like let's say at this mid of the sprint we identify there is a problem in the production, and we have identified the fix also. Like, so commonly we use the terminology as hot fix for any production related defect. So if there is a hot fix which is like development, if development is complete and the testing is also complete, but can we release it if we follow this approach? I have to wait till the end of the sprint to get it out, right? Even though everything is ready, I have something which I can deliver it to a customer. I mean, and without this, like customer will be affected. So if I could deliver it, it will really help my customer. But even though like everything is ready, I won't be able to release it because I have other changes which is work in progress. So I have to wait till the end of the release to get all the testing done, or otherwise like I have to release with the production code along with the hotfix. Once again, I have to do a lot of merging, so that's going to create a problem. So by this way, like even though it's a week's time, like the customer is going to get the product in a delayed fashion. So which is there, like we are violating a motto of Agile, right? So another thing, like let's assume like we have a wonderful, awesome developer like who finished the sprint task ahead of the time and started with the task of the next sprint. So what he does with this code, right? So he has developed something he want to push, but can he push it in this scenario? It's like, because like it is not related to this code, it's a part of next release, right? So even though if it's a simple defect fix, he has to like hold it on in his like local box, or like find some other place where he can push his changes. So this is not an ideal way of doing things, right? And this will like really result in a team frustration. Like if I have to like keep some local changes in my system, I won't be able to like do anything else. So I have to be always sure, okay, did I miss this? Did I miss this? So this could really result in a team frustration. Yeah. Can we have next slide? Yeah. So the next one is like feature branches. So as the figure shows, like here, a feature branch, I have a liberty. I mean, my team moved to this approach like when we had a lot of issues with the previous one.
Devi, can you just hold on? I think there's some problem with the mic.
Yeah. Okay. It is not. It's not working.
Tested properly, I guess. Testing has to be done.
Your mic.
Yeah, I have tested it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here as you can see in the figure, here we have a main master code which is always clean, and from that, like let's say I have 100 developers working on some big product, and I have 10 sub teams. So all of them are like working on a different thing. A single team is doing a defect fix, another team is working on a feature that has to be delivered in this particular sprint. The another team is working on a next sprint task. Already they started with it, like let's assume that way. So in that way, like if I'm going to follow this kind of feature branches approach, everybody at any point of time, like they can take a branch out of a master branch and they can start adding their changes to it. And whenever like they are confident, like whenever their changes are done, they could merge it back to the master, right? But how many of you think like this is the ideal solution and whatever issues we faced over there will be resolved by this? Does anyone think so? Yeah. So most of the time, like this addresses like half of the issues like what we face in the previous one, like which is release branches. But this doesn't like completely. I mean, to the extent it resolves the issues, like, but there are like few problems like delayed integration. So here, let's assume like team 1 has committed their code to a master, and tomorrow like team 2 wants to merge their changes to a master. So in that way, like now team 2, when they take a pull from a master, it will have a team 1's changes. Now they have to resolve all the merge conflicts, which is going to be a waste of time. And like let's say like a team 2, it's like well tested, everything is done. Now since as a part of like resolving a merge conflict, there is a very high possibility that there will be a code changes happening, right? So once again, we need a testing effort, like separate testing, like integration and testing cycle on top of after the merging is done. So here merging becomes like difficult and it doubles the testing effort. Like if this is a strategy which we are going to follow, like every release cycle will have a considerable amount of like time spent on only this regression cycle. Here maybe like I would like to iterate a scenario from my project. So my project was like happening on Ruby on Rails. So as most of you know, like Ruby on Rails, like you have to like keep upgrading your Rails, right? What we did is like, but because this is a tech debt, kind of tech debt, like which has to be done for the smoother delivery of a software, but because of this, like we can't stop our regular sprint planning as well, right? So we divided our team into two things. One team was like working on, one sub-team was like working on a Ruby on Rails upgrade. The other team was working on the regular feature planning, like whatever we have done for that sprint. So what happened is like the Ruby on Rails, like we are done with the upgrades, like it is well tested in a separate branch. But when we merged it back, like it's, as you know, like it's a complete like code-based change, right? So since we are upgrading a Rails itself, it's a lot of change, like a lot of like places across the code base is touched. So when we merged it back to the master, like whatever other sub teams, like they have spent almost like 2 days like resolving the merge issues, and we needed a complete like thorough testing of like 1 or 2 weeks. So this, if my sprint is going to be a week, and it is not like worth spending a week just testing these kind of merge conflicts and ensuring everything is working as proper, right? And I'm not getting any value out of it, but I'm investing like a lot of effort in doing this. So that is when like we really decided. And another big problem is like, let's assume like, like have created an automated test suite, or like I have some resources for testing in particular branch, and the other team, they want to use the same thing. But can it be shared? Since like, since before merging, both are in a different branches. If I want to use it, like I have to wait till it becomes available on the master, like till the merging, till the end of the sprint, or like I have to do a cherry picking. If you guys have done a cherry picking, you guys know like cherry picking can be a very big pain, right? Like, I mean, even if you miss a commit, like you won't know like why it is not working. So you have to like pick all the commits and put it proper. So it is like every sprint, if you have to do this, like this is really not like increasing our productivity, and it's not enabling a rapid delivery, right? So that is when like we started looking for a other alternative approach, like can we overcome all these problems or not? So consider an idea like wherein I can push to a single branch, and at the end of every sprint, like now I have a single branch, I don't have any other branch, so whatever subteams I have, like all of them are like pushing to a same branch, and at the end of the sprint, like I release everything together. So how does that idea sound to you guys? So if I release everything, even though some teams work is like half done, if I release it to a production, as a tester, would you allow it? Yeah, so then I think like we are going to propose a
New
idea
approach.
like on the same.
Yeah.
So when our team like discussed this idea with us, like even we were like, how can you release something which is not done to a production? I'm not going to agree. So this was the first approach like even we had. But so that's when like maybe like I'll ask the same question to you guys at the end, after like what Siddharth has to say. Then let's see like does it change your mind? So.
So do you have any solutions for this? Okay. Enabling few stuff in production. Okay. Exactly, it will be an inactive. Okay, so okay, we heard a lot of terms like okay, there is merging issues, there are feature branches, and so many stuff. Is there any easy way to stop certain things going into production? So has anyone heard about feature toggles here before? What is a toggle basically? Exactly. So the simplest example would be, yeah, that is very practical example. Other, maybe some more examples.
Maybe caps lock.
Caps
num
lock will be the simplest example. Like okay, if you caps on, if the caps is on, you will get the capital letters. If it's off, you won't get it, right? So that will be the best way. Can we adopt this particular feature in our case? Like we had so many questions, we had so many problems. Like okay, these are the feature branches. This is a release branch. Few stuff is going in live, which should not have supposed to be gone. Then we go to dev. Then dev will say, okay, it got merged. It should not have gone. So it actually adds a lot of effort to the testing community. So for that, what we can do is we can have toggle. So what is a feature toggle basically? Feature toggle is a conditional statement, true, false, on, or. It's a conditional statement that hides certain functionality. As we know, like we are doing continuous delivery, we cannot simply deliver certain feature. There will be multiple other features will be under development. We need to test them as well. But we cannot hold our delivery just because other features are in progress. Okay, they might cause certain problem if we go in live in production. So in that case, what we can do, we can hide that particular code under this feature toggle. Now hiding means, basic example would be, let's take an example like, okay, sorry, did you say something? Okay, let's take a basic example, like there is certain feature which is going live, which will be visible in production. Let's consider this is an example. So right hand side, two blocks are nothing but the end user, and on the left hand side, we have certain feature toggles. So we are actually developing certain feature. Now we are sure that the devs have developed completely the feature, the testers have completely tested it, and they are sure now this feature can go live. So in that case, what we can do is, we have already feature toggle on that. So what we can do, we can add, we can keep that feature toggle as true. If we keep true, that will go live. If we are not sure, if the story is half-baked, if the story is developed completely, but testers are not sure, okay, I have done end-to-end testing, I have done regression testing, I have done lot of testing. We are not sure whether we should go live with this or not. So in that case, what we can do, we can keep it false in production environment. But when we are doing testing, so we cannot keep only toggle for production. When we are doing integration testing. In that case, what we can do is we can keep the toggle on. So, am I confusing you people? Okay. So this is nothing but a feature toggle, the basic example. So what are the different types of toggles? Release toggles, these are basically used in development environments. Development environments is like, what does it mean is hiding incomplete features. Okay, hiding incomplete features, as I said, half-baked, or like it need to be done some refactoring. We haven't tested those half-baked or refactored code. In that case, what we'll do, we'll simply hide those particular features, those particular code under this toggle, and are removed as soon as feature is ready. We have to make sure as soon as the particular feature which had feature toggle has gone live, we are pretty sure whatever the feature was supposed to behave, it is behaving perfectly fine. We have tested it correctly and it has gone live. We have to make sure that we remove the feature toggle which was there on that. Why? Because let's take an example, like if your application is too complex, it has so many feature toggles, it will be very difficult for a tester to keep track of which toggle is meant for what feature. So if that feature has gone live, why we need to keep that particular feature toggle? Let's remove it so that it won't add more complexity while doing testing. The next is business toggles. These are basically used for business sponsors, enabling feature for group of people. Group of people means what? There will be a certain targeted audience or targeted people where we will be actually delivering our particular feature. So we need rapid feedback. Let's take an example. This particular strategy is being used by social networking folks. Like let's take an example, Facebook. When they did have this cover pic, so they did actually deliver this particular stuff to limited people. They got the rapid response, like whatever the feedback was there, and accordingly they simply spread it out. So in that case, we'll be using business toggles. We need to enable that particular feature for certain group of people, and it can be changed on fly. On business toggle, we have another slide where we'll get more idea on this. Okay, we heard what is feature toggle. When we can use this? First is hiding or disabling new features in UI. What will be the easiest way, or what will be the most common way of actually touching the feature is something you have something on UI. Let's take an example. I have certain field which says, okay, if you enter something, if you say clear, it should clear the stuff. But that functionality is not tested correctly, but that particular button is visible. If you click on it, nothing is happening. So what you will get, the customer feedback will be, okay, whatever the stuff you have developed, it's not working properly. Then whatever we have done till now, we have lost it. So instead of that, what we can do is we can simply hide this button. So we can hide or disable those particular features from the UI, which are actually going to be.
Siddharth, I would like to add one thing here. So, I mean, after hearing Parimala's talk, right, so I just remembered, like, we had a similar thing in my project, like, where things were working fine in desktop and iPad, but it was, when it come to a mobile, like it was not, the UI was like broken. So what we had to, I mean, we initially thought like we'll roll back in everywhere, but then since we were like using feature toggles, like what we decided was like, why not, like let's hide it only for mobile. So only a subset of a user group will be affected. So whoever is using a desktop or like some other means of medium, like they will be still able to use the same feature, or like, I mean, it will be enabled for them, but whoever is using a mobile, since they're having a very bad experience, like we'll just hide it for them. So that was like one thing like which just popped up, thanks to Parimala.
Hiding, disabling new components. New components is, as I said, like there will be parallel development will be happening, new features, new components will be getting developed. The testers will be testing those particular components, but we are not sure whether those components should go live, whether they'll cause for the rest of the functionality. So in that case also we can go for the toggles. To support multiple versions of feature or component, as I said, you have developed certain feature, the customer is saying, no, we wanted this way, we need to enhance it or we need to modify it. So in that case, we'll be adding a toggle on it. So whatever currently it is there, it will be anyways visible, but we are doing refactoring. So for that particular refactoring, we'll add a feature toggle. Adding new feature to an application, the same thing, like you will be adding certain features to an application, we should not go live till it got tested correctly. Enhancing an existing feature, depending upon the customer feedback, we might need to enhance the existing feature. In that case, what we need to do is whatever the enhancement has been done, we need to test it thoroughly, because already we have got the customer feedback, we need to enhance it. If we are not going to test it properly, again we'll get the wrong customer feedback, which we don't want. So in that case, we'll be using feature toggles. Now, how to implement? Actually, this particular topic, we are not going to focus on how to implement it. Like there are, how many of you are devs over here? Okay, like for example, if you go to different environments, there will be different ways of implementing the toggles. We are not going to focus on that because that is not the motto of this. What we are going to focus is how we can use these feature toggles to test the application. So there are different ways of implementing is config files. There will be a certain config file which I'll be seeing, and I'll be simply saying, okay, I want to test this feature, I'll be turning it on. Or I want to go live with this particular feature, I'll be keeping that toggle as on. Toggle manager, which will be actually managing the toggles, and there will be a session cookies, so which will be only applicable for that particular session, browser session. So the next slide. So let's toggle the stuff.
Yeah, thanks for that. So now now you guys got the idea like what toggle is, right? So how would you like to see it in live in action? Like we are just planning, we are having a demo app, but before that, like, yeah. Yeah, before that, like, I would like to say, like, look here, then as Siddharth mentioned, like, here we are going to show you guys, like, how we can control the entire application with the help of toggles. And we are not going to say, like, how you can implement it. And so as you're seeing here, like, there are, like, majorly there are two ways how we can control it. I mean, as a tester, like, if I know how to control it, like, how I can, the main motto, like, why, as I have mentioned previously, like, why we move to this feature toggle approach is, like, to reduce the time spent on regression and integration every sprint, right? So how it can aid in helping, that is what, like, we are going to focus. And the first one would be, like, yeah, maybe, like, we could show the demo. Yeah. Do you need any help?
No. Oh, is it like?
Yeah, can you just?
Yeah.
So this is a simple demo app which we are going to use. It's a basic simple calculator. And as you see here, like, let's assume we are in a very mini sprint, and here in every sprint, like, we are going to develop a customer with the, I mean, each function, each operation button you see here, right? Like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It's like controlled by a toggle, and we'll be like seeing like how we can control the application. Are you able to see, like, should we like scroll up or scroll down?
No, anyway, this is very simple app, so people will be aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's what like we are going to that's what like we are going to show you guys. So let's first see like how we can control it from the server side. Before that, like, Siddharth, can you open? Yeah. Here, as you can see, like, it's a very simple application. It has a HTML file, and this it has a operation related details, how to perform the operation, and we have a configuration file. So this basically controls like which way of mode like I want to do it. But in actual project, like the team will be sticking with any one of the approach, not with all the three. So just for the demo purpose, we have just kept it this way.
So yeah, exactly. So for the demo purpose only, we have kept it like this. It won't be in .js file and all. So just for the demo purpose, we have done it, and via is nothing but there are three ways of actually using the toggle. So
Yeah.
that's why we have
So,
kept that
yeah.
particular map.
We didn't want to do everything in a background. So by doing it this way, like, you will also like you will be able to follow us, right? So that's why like we have done it this way. Just can you just turn on like with the config file?
So it is on.
Yeah, so what are all the, so here we have, as you can see, like the toggle flag is like subtract, multiply, and divide, and we have just turned on like subtract and divide. So let's assume like this entire sprint is about like testing how the application will behave only with the subtract and divide button, and the multiplications, let's assume like the work is like being done. So I just want to hide it when I release it to production. So in my testing environment, like for my testing, I want to have like subtract and divide enabled, and multiplication with hidden. So I want to see like how the application behaves under that way. So here if you can see like, or maybe like Siddharth, can you just change the, can you enable the multiply also?
Yeah.
So that we can get a better idea. Yeah, so we have just enabled it. Yeah, so here you are able to see the multiply as well, right? So can you just test the multiplication application?
Yeah, we need to test also. So whatever the application we have developed, it is working fine or not.
Yeah. So here, maybe like when I know like this is like working.
Yeah, bravo.
So when we know like the multiplication is working done, I can just enable these kind of, I can set all the three to true in a testing environment. But when I go to production, I can just enable like whatever I want to. Like, I mean, let's say like this release is only about like releasing a subtraction feature to a customer. I can just turn that flag on and I can just release it. So you won't be able to see rest of the buttons in the production. So can you get back to the slide?
We'll keep it open only.
Yeah, just play. from current. Yeah. So could you guys like think of what could be the pros and cons of this approach? Yeah.
Can you additional mic?
Yeah.
If like you have given an example of an calculator, right? So if in case of an complex application, first thing, tell me, like, is it only possible for at the UI level?
No,
No,
it's not.
No.
Okay,
So
so
it's
if even if I'm having suppose any financial application wherein there are different calculations going behind, and if I'm having different teams and we are taking out branches for the different releases, which would be later on will be merged or would be a baseline for the release.
Yeah.
So in that case, it wouldn't be challenging to manage all the toggles and then to baseline it.
So
If
here-
UI level, I can understand, but
No, it is not only at the UI level. Just given like we have a very simple application, we have done it at the UI level. The only thing like this is like not only a tester's like call, right? So it's an entire team's call. So if they decide to adapt to this approach, the one thing like the developers has to like consciously follow is like whenever they add any line of code related to this particular feature, they have to like they have to put the toggles. So like whenever I enable it, only then I get to like see the functionality. So if there is, if they forget to put the kind of if they forgot to guard the code, like that is why like we are here, right? So when we are testing it with the features, like we'll get to know like whether everything is like working properly or not.
okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we will come to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Code in a
Exactly.
Hi.
Yeah.
No,
You
there
know,
are-
one set of branch, you can't put it in a, dormant mode, or there's like a toggle. So it's only certain cases is possible. In those cases, like, the delivery or design, testers, all the, team get together and decide, okay, what can we put it in the toggle? So
Exactly.
is it
Yeah.
really, even after putting a merging, putting this in a particular thing in a toggle mode, then you have to do the integration test as well.
Exactly.
Like, how it works in a, dormant mode, how it works in without dormant. You have to
Yeah.
test all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it
Agree.
reduces a little bit of work, but definitely not, huge effort.
Exactly. To answer your question, we have certain slides, so we'll just go to that.
yeah, maybe like at the end of it, we'll come
Yeah.
back to you. Yeah. So here, the one of the advantage of using this approach is like as soon as like I change it in a config file, it's a part of a code base, right? So if I want the change to be effective, like we have to do a deployment. So that's when like it happens. So when we like turn it on from the server end, like it's available to anyone like who is using that particular testing environment or like any environment like where we have turned it on. And the feature is available till the next build is like deployed. And here like as a tester, like once the configuration is done, I don't need to know anything about like toggles, and there is no further setup needed. So I can just go ahead and start testing like whatever is there. I don't have to do any further setup, or I don't have to know like any other further information. But one of the and few of the disadvantages would be like let's say like I have an application which takes like more than half an hour to finish the deployment, right? Since this is a code change, every time you change your flag in a file, like you have to do a deployment. Then only like it will be like reflected in the testing environment. So in that way, like I have to wait for the deployment to complete. So that is one thing. And let's say like currently like as a tester, like if I'm responsible for 2 sub teams, like I have to certify like both their works. If I have to like switch between like turn off like one thing and turn on one thing, or like switch between the toggles, like that's going to be like really difficult over here. So let's see like how I can control it from the client end. Yeah. Can we get to the application?
Yeah.
Yes. So here when we say like control it from the client end, there are like 2 ways how we can do it. So how we have implemented here is like the first one is like URL parameterization. I can just pass all the feature whatever is needed in the particular URL. So it will be like it's available only for me, only for till I close the browser or like till the session is like active. So in most of the, it's not unlike the calc application. If it's a serious project, like what we do is like they keep the flag active till the end of the session. So as soon as like you enter it like via URL, it is captured and overridden like whatever is there in the config file, and it is like kept till the like end of the session. So can you just pass us a few parameters?
Yeah.
Can we just enable only multiplication? Yeah. So here, as you can see, like as soon as I have provided a feature flag, like I am able to see that particular button. Can you just perform like some operation on that? Yeah. So this is like one way of doing it from the client end. The another one would be like JavaScript, interactive JavaScript pop-up. So currently, like we have done it as a part of a demo app itself. Like what the general strategy I have seen to be like followed is like it's a stand-in pop-up. Like if you just provide your feature flags in that particular pop-up, like it's a JavaScript pop-up, it will be like overridden and that will remain active till the end of the session. So can you just
So what do you want to test?
maybe divide or subtract? This is like, let's say like if there are like
Can you
multiple.
repeat the question as well for the very-
Yeah. So what the question was like, what would be the use case of this? Like, is it only for beta testing? So here, like, let's assume like we have multiple testers. Like I have 10 testers working on something. Everyone is like testing a different things. Then in that case, like if I'm going to like turn it on from the server end, everyone will be affected, right? So I mean, maybe it could be a blocker for someone to proceed with their work. So in that case, like this is mainly to. And it depends upon like product to product. If let's say like I'm testing on something like that the button should not appear for a current release, maybe you're testing how it will appear with the button or how it will behave with the new feature. So in that case, like it could be a blocker if you turn it on in a testing environment. So that is when like we go for this like localized approach, like it's active only in your machine. So it's like controlled by the flags like you provide.
Yeah, because in that case, what you
Do it in your system, and then your application, if you want to do it.
No, it is like you have the flags, like by default it is disabled in the server end. You're just enabling it, overriding the flag from the client end.
But if it is in production, you're also opening it up for users to test to actually use something which is
Yeah,
not tested completely.
No,
this will
This
be
is
for
like,
local.
sorry, maybe like this whatever.
Exactly.
we are
This is
only for
discussing,
development
this is
environment.
Like only
Exactly.
about the release toggles.
Yeah, we are
this
talking
is
about
like
release
available
toggles, so
only
it
in
is
the
for
development
development
environment. We'll get to the business toggles. We'll
Yeah.
just show you how that use cases. Yeah.
So in this case, is it working? All the code resides in one branch, right? One master branch.
Yeah.
So if you have to move, go back in time, revert some commits, how do you do that?
So here, like, there is no concept of like rollback. So all you have, if let's say like things has gone wrong in production with the last release, all you do is like remove the feature and redeploy.
So when you say remove the feature, what actually
I mean,
happens
like,
behind the scenes?
As I have shown in the, can you go to the config file, Siddharth? Yeah. So in the config file, like turn it off. Like
Yeah.
set the value to false or like remove the toggle.
So what happens at the VCS layer? Let us say you're using Git. What actually happens? So do you still develop using the normal method of having branches for each feature and then merging them
No,
to that, and then you actually go back? I mean, how does changing this config reflect in VCS understanding that okay, I have to go back to this commit because or I have to remove this feature? How does VCS understand that?
Code is like always at the latest commit, like whatever you have done. It is just like when we say feature toggles, the
Hiding
code
executional
is like already there, but it is just not like visible or you won't be able to access it. We are just hiding the things from the UI level or at the functional level.
Oh, so in the code you actually tag it somehow saying that this is for
Exactly.
this feature.
No. It's like every code, it remains in a, we have only one branch, which is master branch, and every code that gets over there. And at any point of you go to production, like whatever is the latest commit, it goes to a production. And in the production, based on these kind of flags, it is like, let's say like a particular feature, when it is implemented, it is spread across like 20 different files. Every 20 different files will have this like kind of feature flags. There will be a kind of if-else statements like which will be guarding the code. So if it finds a flag over here, then that particular piece of code will be like executed. Let's say like if there is a button 1, like for a simple example, let's assume like there is a button. If given a flag, it should be visible. If it is not there, it should not be visible. So it could be like if flag is true, set the CSS property equal to visible.
So you're saying that
More about how you manage the code. It's not inside what you're doing in the code.
Okay.
In the SCM tool, how in the branch level, if you take out the what the hard defect in production. So when you remove fix that thing in the your either a trunk or a branch, how are you going to manage that? So like you release the code into the production through trunk. Okay, you got the defect in production. So how are you going to take that back into your in SCM, and how you introduce the ongoing branch testing? So that's her question. It's not the inside the code.
Okay, so if to answer your question, like here there is no concept of like rollback. It's like always like hide the part of features. So if we encounter like production defect, what we do is like we try to get up with a like hotfix immediately and try to release. I mean, let's say like I have done a release 1 hour back, and if my hotfix is like ready in the next hour, like I can do a release again.
There is a different
no,
thing.
there is no concept of branch. That's testing happens out of. Maybe like can you?
Okay, can we, I mean, this question is taking little time to answer. We'll just complete stuff. Maybe we can take this question offline. We can do some stuff on paper, so it will be more answerable.
Can you just show the Java stuff? You showed, right?
Yeah, we have showed.
Can you get back to the slide? Yeah, so these are all the few things like which we need to know, like if we want to do it via client, we should need to know the feature flag to enable it. Like let's say like, I mean, if I don't know the flag is going to be like subtract or multiply for this particular feature, like I won't be able to enable it. So we need to talk to our devs, and we need to find out like what is the particular flag for what. And as I said, like the feature is like only available on your local machine. It doesn't mean like it behaves like it just overrides the properties like which we have set it in the server side. So in your machine with the updated properties, it behaves in a different way with the enabled feature for testing. This is mainly to enable the testing or like to speed up the development. I'll come back to you. I know like you have a question, like we'll catch up later. Yeah. So here, as we told, like testing becomes like more easier, since I know like I have a control of like what appears in my testing environment and what not. So if I want to test one thing, like I can just enable it, and if I want to see like okay how the system behaves without, if I just turn off this, then I can just do it like because like everything is like in my machine, right? So yeah. So here the next one is like business toggle. The first like whatever we talked so far, it is about the release toggles, and this is mainly as Siddharth has told us like previously, it's only in the development environment. Like these kind of toggles, these are like short-lived. So as soon as like I release a feature, we I just keep it for the next iteration. We see like we observe like whether the code is stable, whether the functionality is stable. As soon as like we feel the functionality is stable, we remove all the feature toggles like related to that. I mean related to the previous like release toggles. So moving on to about business toggles, like this is used only in production environment. Let's say like, I mean, why do I need a toggle in production, right? Do you guys think like we need it in production? Okay, it's like what would be the use case?
Exactly.
Yeah,
correct.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that to enable like A/B testing, like if you want to see, I mean, if you want to understand the psychology of a user base, like what sort of features that attracts them, like what they don't want to use, then we could kind of like have a business toggles. And as Parimala told us, like let's release it to a group of folks like for early feedback. Like these, let's take an example of Facebook, right? So every day, like there was a post some time back, like Facebook, every commit they make, they release it to production, right? So in that case, like how do they handle it? And every possible like commit cannot go to a production, right? As a tester, like sometime back, like I won't approve of it. Like I would like it to be tested. So it's like as soon as the developer pushes in, it goes to a production. So in that case, like how they handle it, or like whenever they develop, whenever they try to introduce a new feature, like could you guys tell me like what is a new feature in Facebook?
Latest one.
Latest one. Maybe like let's take a cover pic. There was like no concept of cover pic before 2 years, right? So when they introduce, like it won't be like opened up for all the 100% of FB population. So response is like overwhelming. Then it is like opened up to like 10%, 25%. Then it is like ramped to the 100% of the FB population. So this is how companies like you see here, like they ramp their features up. So if you just Google about these companies, like you will find like lot of blogs about like how they are using this feature flags or feature toggles to control their, to enable their rapid delivery. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, while implementing the toggles, what all precautions you should take is, as he said, like you cannot keep everything under toggle. So you have to, like, even if this feature may be beneficial, you cannot add feature toggles for everything. It will be very complex. If you add, maybe instead of having 10 feature toggles, if you are adding 100 feature toggles to keep track of what exactly which toggle means what particular functionality, it will be very hard to keep track. It should be mutually exclusive toggles. One toggle should not refer to the other toggle. If that is the case, again, for a tester, if I'm going to see the file, okay, these are the toggles which are available on these features. But again, if one feature is one toggle is dependent on other toggle, okay, I have to make the changes to that, then only it will be visible. So those changes we try to hide. Remove the toggle as soon as corresponding feature is implemented completely. The same thing as I explained some time back. So what will you achieve using feature toggle is continuous integration, more visibility into all work streams. No merge conflicts as we had in feature branches or in branching stuff, hence easy to refactor the code. Reduce time spent on testing. I would like to focus on the last point. It really helps in testing. So we'll go to the next slide because we have got really less time remaining. So having said, to answer your question, sir, many people would be knowing this guy. So who is he? Martin Fowler. So to question your answer, he has answered already. Feature toggle is second best solution. The best solution is to find a way gradually integrate without feature toggle or feature. We have to find a better approach to actually integrating the stuff. But feature toggle will be really helpful. So Martin Fowler has given your answer, like you cannot keep everything under feature toggles. So yeah, that is what we have got. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Does it impact the performance by any chance?
Does it improve the performance?
No, it would. I would rather say that it may impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have if then else, and if you keep on toggling, you are actually consuming cycles.
Yeah.
Would it impact? And especially, for example, mobile applications. Would it impact? I don't know. I'm just asking you.
No.
So far, like we have been using this in our last project. Like we haven't seen any performance impact so far. So this is like. When we compile it and deploy it to the production, by the time it's a var file or any like executable, like which consumes a very less space, right? So in that, like we haven't seen like any performance issues so far.
Yeah, but anyways, if you have a lot of feature toggles, it may. So that's why we try to say, like, try to keep minimal number of feature toggles.
And there is always a correct way of using it and simply using it, right? So if we use it in a correct way, like it is like really beneficial.
every time when we make a code change and when we do toggle, there is a requirement for additional inactive testing that should be done. One more cycle needs to be done. So I see this adds up a burden in doing testing, and it stops the agility of taking into production. And I do not immediately could catch up any benefit that it could give unless and until if there is a very bad situation that needs a toggle. So what is your comment on?
If I understand your question, like you're saying, like if we have toggles, like we have to do another round of testing when I have to remove it, right?
Regression is one. Beyond regression, you have to inactive testing, whatever the code you have.
I mean, can you explain us the term inactive
Inactive
testing?
testing.
You are making a code change which is not going to go active, so you are making it inactive, and that should be tested when you move your entire code into production. So it adds a cycle of testing and plus regression, so it adds burden to testing and it stops the agility.
One question like I would like to ask, like, I mean, why do we do regression?
Impact.
I mean, why do
It's an impact assessment. See, it's a
whether like whatever I have introduced,
let us not go into regression. My question is more predominantly into you are making a code change and making something inactive and putting it into production. That needs to be tested. Regression is next. So this is adding a cycle of testing. Extra cycle of testing is required, which is stopping the agility.
But in this approach, like, I mean, here we don't spend like a lot of time on regression, right? Maybe one round of, and I wouldn't like.
No, let us not enter into regression. My question is about before regression. See, I'm seeing a point in toggling. It is going to be useful if there is a real situation for that. But what I'm seeing is like if there is a methodology by which you can say yes or no, this should be going into toggle or not, and filter out there, then it can.
Yeah, that particular stuff I would say like the developers they have to be sure. Because ultimately what will happen is we cannot keep track of what exactly development is happening. So what we normally do is we'll be asking developers, this feature toggle is exactly, if you are going to hide certain things under this, if we keep it on, what all things it will be impacted. So from that we'll get some sense.
So then again, you are kind of doing a risk assessment and addressing the risk.
So if you don't use it, in that.
Like, do you have like any, do you have any prior experience in this?
I mean,
like,
see, we
one suggestion here.
Yeah.
What would happen is, like, if you are working on a sprints and you have basically, normally we fix the time that okay, 3 weeks, 2 week sprints, and you know that this particular feature is causing the entire sprint to get delayed. Would it be better for you to basically release the sprint with feature not working, which is not working fine, or you would wait till the feature gets completed and you don't know how much the delay is? So does it basically help you answer that, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so far, like in the project, like where we have this approach, like it has saved us a lot of testing cycle of time. And that's why, like, we decided to share it with the wider testing community, right? So that's why, like, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I would be like really interested, like, if you have like any negative impact of this approach, like I would be interested to know. Maybe like you can catch it. Yeah.
Excuse me, your good name?
Ashok.
Hi Ashok. So basically what are you saying, in fact it has been dependent on the past round up on the place we are working. In fact we have 2 projects which has to be similar features. One is following the waterfall, which is a completely new product. Other one is similar features, old product. We're just doing like an agile way. So same thing has propped up. The suggestion is just use it sparingly. When you go in a waterfall, when you have more milestones and more time, so you can do a lot of inactive testing, you can do it. You do in a very shorter sprints, yes, better to use sparingly. I think I just agree with other suggestions, so I'm just using my experience.
To answer you, so where this toggle helps, right? Yes, it increases the testing, but the testing will happen beforehand. Then, okay, my production is ready, I have to do it. So if you don't do a feature toggle, release branches or feature branches, after all development done, you do merging for a week, then do testing. Here, what you're doing, you're just preponing the testing. We do it early, so our time to market reduces. We cannot like reduce our testing effort. We just shift it earlier.
My question is like, who is making the decision of whether toggling is required or not? Toggle
It should be the team.
Useful in one of cases.
It should be teams,
But
yeah.
I do not see like where you are going into the decision of whether they need toggle or not. Every case it will not be useful for you.
Yes, it will. Is it team's decision? Like, yeah.
Methodology to do that. If you can explain, then it will be helpful.
Okay, maybe we can talk about it like during the lunch.
Yeah,
time.
exactly. It will go into while implementing what we should take care of. So that will go in different direction itself.
Right, so you just mentioned cycle of time. So considering the cycle of time, we need to break for lunch now. Otherwise, we'll run late. But just before that, I would like to felicitate both of you, for which I would like to call on stage Parimala.
Thanks. You can go left side.
All right, many thanks to both of you for your contribution.